In our last episode, I talked about how we got into cooking thousands and thousands of pounds of lobster in a weekend for the Port of Los Angeles Lobster Fest, where we were the main show cooking all the lobsters. Well, that led to a pretty interesting situation that I'm going to tell you about in this new episode. Hey, I'm Mike Ungaro, and welcome to Fish Factor. I'm CEO, visionary, and business co-owner of the Kings of Fish TV series on Amazon Prime and the legendary San Pedro Fish Market. Under my leadership, we saw double-digit annual sales growth for over a decade and became the second most visited seaside attraction on the Western Seaboard, second only to SeaWorld. On this channel, you'll get an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at what it takes to run a multi-generational business that's been operating since 1956, the highs, the struggles, and the unique challenges of working with family. You'll see firsthand what it takes to keep a seafood empire thriving while also producing our TV series Kings of Fish, which you can watch right here on YouTube and on Amazon Prime. So at one point, our promoter, producer of the festival had some ideas of how we could get some really good PR. And his idea was, let's try to set a Guinness World Record. I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't know what that means. And he hired Guinness. They sent out what's called a adjudicators. I can't even say it. And the purpose of this person was to make sure that we actually set the record. They have to watch everything you do. They have to measure. So Guinness wouldn't allow us to do the world record under lobsters. Instead, they said, well, you could do most seafood served. Let's see what you come up with. Fine. So the adjudicator comes out. I have my friend Chris Cognac. If any of you ever watched a show on the Food Network way back in the day called The Hungry Detective, that was Chris's show, and when we were actually in the pilot season of it. So him and I had become friends. And I said, listen, I need a celebrity or somebody out here to basically help us count it. And we had to have a way to measure them and weigh them, because that was what the record was going to be about. So we needed to use our vendor for scales to come out and have a certified scale and be there to make sure that the weights were accurate. Chris was out there to make sure we were doing what we were supposed to do, and the adjudicator represented Guinness. So it was a whole procedure. And so we did it. And what we did was we, over the course, I think it was from noon to 6 or 11 to 6, over a certain space of time, they counted and measured how many pounds of lobsters we actually cooked. And no one had ever done that before, but they didn't let us call it lobster. They called it seafood. And we did set what was a Guinness World Record for most seafood served in a single event. The problem we had was, oh, that was really cool. And we got a lot of great press and we had a lot of fun. A very short time later, somebody beat it somewhere in South America serving sardines. Well, sardines don't cost very much. Lobster does. And we just felt like we got gypped because our lobster, they broke our record, most seafood served, with, I'm sure they tasted great, but they're not lobsters, right? Now, for those of you that know the history of lobsters, I guess you could go either way on this, because if you go all the way back over 100 years, lobsters were prison food. Because what do they look like? They look like a giant bug that crawled out of the water. But somehow, thanks to the magic of media and PR, they turned into a delicacy. And they got really expensive. And they were no longer considered prison food. So now here we are with this high-end lobsters, and we're kind of bummed. Our record got broken by sardines. What the heck? So we went back to Guinness and we negotiated a deal with our producer, Jim Hall, that, listen, we want to call them lobster and we want to do 3 records in a day, not 1 this time. We want to set something that can never be broken. So they agreed and they said, okay, we kind of came up with a plan. They sent out another adjudicator. And this time what we were going to do was set 3 Guinness World Records in a single day. Most cooked at once in a single pot, they called it. Most like in a single serving container, like in other words, like what can you have as a single serving, most lobster, and then most lobsters cooked by pounds over the course of a day. I think it was 6 or 7 hours. And the interesting part about that was a production company we knew that had filmed us for another TV show that was actually on the Hungry Channel on YouTube, called Drink Inc. We worked with them on a project prior to this. They said, we heard you're going to try to do 3 Guinness World Records in lobster in a single day. We'd love to come and see what that looks like. So they filmed it and we hit all 3 records. It was pretty incredible. We had to fill these baskets up so heavy we didn't even know if the weight was going to hold, because we'd never put this many lobsters in a single cooking at a single time. And I forget the exact numbers, but it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000 pounds cooked, 1,000 pounds served, and then in one single vessel, over the course of so many hours. It was incredible. And these guys filmed it, right? Jonah and Jonas were their name, and they were doing a lot of different TV shows at the time and still are. And so they filmed it and they turned it into a sizzle reel. So our 3 Guinness World Records became part of the subject matter of a sizzle reel, which would become a reality series, or their intention was for it to be a reality series that got shopped around called Fishmongers. So we have the video of it, what we did on a professional level. We have all the photographs of what we produced, and then we have the 3, now 4 actually, Guinness World Records all hanging in our office. It was a pretty incredible feat. We were super proud of ourselves. And we got all kinds of great recognition and just organic PR as a result of it. So it was a lot of fun. It's something it's a memory I cherish, and it led eventually to us producing Kings of Fish, because we realized not only are we able to produce these incredible accomplishments, but you know what? Sometimes it makes for great entertainment too. And so that's what we did. So that's the end of our 4 Guinness World Records story. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening to Fish Factor. I'm Mike Ungaro. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, and you can also check out all the episodes of Kings of Fish right here. You can learn more about our restaurants by going to our website, sanpedrofish.com, or you can follow us on our social media channels, Instagram, Facebook, etc., at San Pedro Fish, or the TV show at Kings of Fish.